Do you find it hard to trust people? You're not alone. Trust is a delicate thread that binds our relationships, yet many of us grapple with trust issues. It's a prevalent problem, often hidden under layers of self-protection and fear. In this enlightening journey, we'll delve into the world of trust issues, exploring 8 common signs that hint at a troubled relationship with trust. Knowledge is power, and recognizing these signs is the first step towards overcoming trust issues. Let's embark on this journey together. The first sign you have trust issues is if you're always checking up on people. Now let's be clear, it's natural to show concern for those who matter to us. But when it becomes a compulsive need to know where they are, what they're doing, or who they're with at all times, it's a red flag. This constant surveillance, whether it be through incessant questioning or social media stalking, is a sign of mistrust. It stems from a fear of being betrayed or deceived. It's an emotional burden, not just for you, but also for the people on the receiving end of your scrutiny. It can lead to strained relationships and create an environment of unease. Remember, trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. If you're finding yourself always checking up, it's a signal that your trust is wavering. If you're always checking up, it might be time to look at your trust issues. Sign number 2 is that you're overly suspicious. It's like you're wearing a detective's hat 24/7. You're constantly questioning people's motives, their honesty, their intentions. You might find yourself doubting even the most basic of statements. Did they really have to work late, or are they avoiding me? Are they telling the truth or just saying what I want to hear? This isn't about healthy skepticism, but rather an unrelenting distrust that often stems from past experiences. It's like you're looking for clues, trying to piece together a puzzle that may not even exist. But here's the thing, not everyone is out to get you. Most people are just living their lives, not plotting intricate deceptions. This constant suspicion can be exhausting. It can alienate those around you, making them feel like they're always under scrutiny, and that can strain your relationships. So remember, being overly suspicious isn't healthy and can strain your relationships. The third sign is being afraid of commitment. Fear of commitment isn't just about avoiding matrimony. It extends to every facet of your life that requires a long-term pledge. Whether it's a serious relationship, a career path, or even a month-long gym membership, if you find yourself constantly second-guessing, it may be a sign of underlying trust issues. Why does this happen? Well, it's because commitment requires a level of trust. It's about believing that the other party involved, be it a person or an organization, will uphold their end of the deal. You're essentially putting your faith in an uncertain future, and that can be scary if trust is something you struggle with. So if you're perpetually on the fence, unable to make a solid decision or commitment, it's worth exploring the possibility that trust issues are at play. If you're avoiding commitment, it might be due to trust issues. Sign 4 is having difficulty opening up to others. Now, this isn't about being an introvert or a private person. No, it's about your capacity for vulnerability, your willingness to share your thoughts, feelings, or experiences with others. The thing is, trust is a two-way street. It requires you to give a bit of yourself to someone else, to allow them a peek into your world. When trust issues are at play, you might feel like you're keeping a fortress around your heart. You're hesitant to let anyone in, fearful of what they might do with the information you share. It's like you're holding your cards close to your chest, afraid that someone might use them against you. This can lead to isolation and a sense of disconnection from others. The root of this issue often lies in past experiences of betrayal or disappointment. This fear of being hurt again can make it incredibly hard to open up. If you find it hard to open up, it could be a sign of trust issues. The fifth sign is struggling with forgiveness. When we find it hard to let go of past mistakes, it's often a sign that trust has been fractured. Everyone makes mistakes, but if you're finding it impossible to forgive someone, it's possible that you're dealing with trust issues. It's important to remember that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning the hurtful action. It simply means releasing the burden that the resentment carries. You see, forgiveness is more about you than the other person. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of bitterness. But when trust is at stake, this process becomes complicated. You may find yourself stuck in the past, unable to move forward because the fear of being hurt again is too great. This struggle is a clear sign that trust issues are at play. So if you're finding it hard to forgive, take a moment to evaluate your trust levels. Struggling with forgiveness can be a sign that you're struggling with trust. Sign 6 is being overly protective of your personal information. Now, we're not talking about not giving out your social security number to strangers online. That's just common sense. We're referring to being hesitant or downright unwilling to share even basic personal information with those around you. This could be as simple as not wanting to tell someone where you're from, or it could extend to not wanting to share your feelings, thoughts, or experiences. It's perfectly normal to want to keep some things to yourself, but if you're finding that you're overly cautious about what you share, it might be a sign that you're dealing with trust issues. Trust involves being open and vulnerable to some degree, and if you're constantly putting up walls to protect your information, it could indicate a fear of being hurt or betrayed. This fear can stem from past experiences, or it could be a symptom of a deeper issue. If you're overly protective of your personal information, it could be due to trust issues. Sign 7 is constantly expecting the worst. It's like having a cloud of negativity always looming overhead. You find yourself bracing for the worst-case scenario, whether it's in relationships, at work, or even in casual interactions. This isn't about being prepared for life's ups and downs. This is about living in a state of constant anticipation of betrayal, disappointment, or failure. It's about seeing danger in every corner and deception in every smile. It's the nagging feeling that everyone is out to get you, or that they will let you down when you need them most. This is not just a pessimistic outlook on life, it's a defensive mechanism, a way to shield yourself from potential pain. But in doing so, you're closing yourself off to the possibility of trust, of forming meaningful connections, of experiencing the joy of relying on others. If you always expect the worst, it's likely you have trust issues. The 8th and final sign is having a hard time relying on others. It's a common human trait to seek support from those around us. We're social creatures after all. However, if you find it challenging to lean on others, whether for emotional backing or practical matters, it could be an indication of trust issues. Imagine you're moving to a new apartment and you find it difficult to ask for help. Or perhaps you're going through an emotional roller coaster, but you can't bring yourself to share your feelings with others. This isn't about independence or self-reliance. It's about an underlying fear that people might disappoint or hurt you if given the chance. It's about feeling safer when you're in control, even if it means carrying burdens that should be shared. This way of thinking can be exhausting and isolating. It's okay to let others in. It's okay to trust. Remember, we're built for connection. If you struggle to rely on others, trust issues could be at play. So, those are the 8 signs you might have trust issues. We started by discussing how constantly checking up on others can be a sign of trust issues. This could be in the form of incessant texting, or always needing to know where someone is. Following that, we touched upon being overly suspicious. If you're always doubting others' intentions or actions, it could be indicative of deeper trust problems. We then moved on to a fear of commitment. Trust issues can make it incredibly difficult to make long-term commitments due to fear of betrayal. Similarly, having difficulty opening up to others can be a red flag as well. Trust issues can make it challenging to share personal feelings and thoughts, leading to a lack of emotional intimacy in relationships. Next, we explored the struggle with forgiveness. Holding grudges or being unable to let go of past misdeeds can be a significant sign of trust issues. Moreover, being overly protective of personal information also points towards the same. If you're hesitant to share even minor details about your life, it could be due to a fear of vulnerability stemming from trust issues. Then we discussed the habit of constantly expecting the worst. This can lead to unnecessary stress and anxiety, and is often a sign of trust issues. Lastly, we examined the difficulty in relying on others. Trust issues can make it hard to delegate tasks or depend on someone else, even in minor situations. Recognizing these signs is the first step towards overcoming trust issues. Remember, it's okay to ask for help and take steps towards building trust in your relationships.